It's been just over a month since Fate was released, so I want to take a look back, look at how she's doing, look at how my opinions have changed, look at how I'm doing, because I'm playing her a lot. And yeah, in the background is probably ranked 2v2 gameplay. If I were to assume, I'm the Enchantress, I'm playing with LDZ. If you didn't know, I made a video with Phazon last week where we also played Double Fate. So if you like what you see on the screen in the background, then you can check that out if you want. If not, don't. If I'm looking at things critically, I don't know if that's the right usage of the word. Either way, Fate is definitely the character that I didn't know I wanted until she was released. And easily the character I was most excited for on release, since Val, maybe Caspian? I guess you could say Rayman, but obviously I was excited for him for different reasons. You know, not gameplay reasons, because he's not that good. Yeah, probably Val, probably Caspian. So needless to say, it's been a little while. I really thought when I looked at Caspian, when he was revealed on the dev stream, that he would be my call to arms. Definitely a character design that I think fit me, at least when I first saw him. But when I was playing him, you know, I mained him for a good while, a couple tournaments. I still felt like something was missing, and I don't know. I didn't really know what it was. Maybe it's the weapon combo, maybe the gauntlet sigs, maybe some combination. Either way, Fate is very different, and I feel something that I really haven't felt in Brawlhalla at all, and that's a character that I really am just super pumped to develop. A lot of you probably know me for my Hattori, and while I did play that character for a long time, definitely put in more hours than any other character. I can't think of anything that would even come close. She still really didn't fit me, in my opinion. A long time ago, like a while ago, I just basically throw combo with spear, and then when I pick up sword, I just like mash. Just like, and then when I picked her back up last year, it was mainly just for twos. I didn't have a twos character that I really liked, so I basically just went with the Tori because it was the most simple to learn since I already kind of knew her. When I played Val, I'd basically just try and cheese with gauntlets, and I definitely didn't learn any of the intricacies of the game. Same for Caspian, I think. The one character I never really put any time into, and that I'd probably like along the same lines as Fate, is Mordex. But I don't know. I'm not really that interested in him. I don't know why. He's one of the most solid characters in the game. He's got one of the best sig kits, and definitely most well-rounded sig kits in the game. But I don't like how he looks, so I don't want to play him. I wouldn't be surprised if I mained Fate for a really long time. Of course, hoping that orb doesn't get reverted back to whatever sluggish weapon it was on release. That wouldn't be fun. Honestly, just in terms of orb, I think it's a really good weapon right now. I think it's in a good spot, but I also think that people overrate it just because of matchup inexperience. To me, it feels like a really solid weapon with amazing air control and a couple pretty iffy matchups, but mostly in a good spot. You know, maybe a few areas could be shuffled around, like you could nerf Dare a little bit, reduce the power on Dare or Sarah or something like that, and instead shift that power around to something like a bigger sidelight hitbox or more consistent downlight follow-ups or something like that. But honestly, I still don't think I know enough about the weapon to make a big judgment like that, like this quickly with full confidence. You know, I don't want to give you guys misinformation. I don't want to spread anything that is actually untrue. So, you know, I'm being more reserved with my statements. Honestly, for both Orb and Scythe. I'm not quite there yet with either weapon. I've been practicing a bit with the free time that I do have, but I don't know. It's not like I have too much. Expect to see that in the future. I still think Fate is top tier even if Orb isn't, just because the power of her SIGs, they really force your opponent to respect the options, which basically makes your job easier as the player. I mean, they don't want to jump against that Orb and SIG, it just means that it's easier to hit them on the ground, if that makes sense. I've talked enough about that probably, maybe a little too much, so let me just talk about the SIGs, because my opinions have changed a little bit. Not too much, but a little to where it's probably significant. I'll start with the Scythe. I think Scythe NSIG is actually weaker than I thought. I said in my analysis video that that was probably her best SIG on Scythe. I don't actually think that's true anymore. The small hitboxes definitely hurt it. It's a relatively big commitment considering that your movement completely stops. And also, I'm 99% sure it's actually bugged because it doesn't give you chase dodge when you hit it. It might make sense at first glance because projectiles usually don't give a chase dodge, but also the Scythe side SIG does give a chase dodge when it's not the projectile version, so I don't know what's going on there. I'm assuming it's an oversight. Scythe down SIG is still very underwhelming in my opinion. I think it should hit horizontal because that would make it look a lot cleaner, at least in my opinion. That's more of a quality of life change than anything. But even if it got that and more force, it still probably wouldn't be worth to throw out. The risk reward is kind of skewed. I don't expect this SIG to receive any major buffs. It reminds me of Koji's sword down SIG. It probably has some niche uses, but it's not something that you'll see yourself using in every single game, I don't think. Scythe side SIG is actually a lot stronger than I initially thought. It's impressed me a lot, and now I think I can say it's without a doubt her best Scythe SIG. It's basically like a faster version of Mordek's Scythe side SIG, but with smaller range. And even though the Mordek SIG is probably better, that's not to say that this one is bad or anything like that. It actually has some beefy force behind it. It's got some active frames, and it's got a deceptively short startup. Like, no way are you gonna react. The problem is it's still a relatively big commitment, so you can't just sauce it out like some of the orb SIGs, but it's overall a nice SIG. I think it's very well designed in terms of the risk reward. I think it's a well balanced SIG, and it's what I like to see. Jumping into the orb, I think that orb side SIG is actually weaker than I initially thought. I think the high startup hurts it a lot more than I thought it would, because the hitbox doesn't appear until she jumps up on the star, but it's still super good. You put this SIG on most characters in the game and they become better, so that should tell you that even though it's definitely her worst orb SIG, it's like not a bad SIG at all. Also, I found a use for the active input, because if you hit your teammate with the side SIG by accident, if you do the down version, you're never going to kill him, and your teammate's going to be very happy. N-SIG is honestly just as good as I thought it would be. Hard to punish, it leaps to double jump height instantly, great damage, covers orb's weak angle, it's stylish, which, you know, of course I like that. I've got nothing but good things to say about orb N-SIG. I had nothing but good things to say about it in the last video, obviously still true today. The SIG that I think I underrated on orb was down SIG. It's a lot stronger than I initially thought. It covers a nice space above as well, so it can catch a landing opponent, it can catch a leaping opponent, deals a bunch of damage as well. Unreactable startup, very low recovery frames, basically a light attack that kills. Its active input also gives it more options, which is always nice to see. And so even though it would hurt me as a player, I think I'd like to see this SIG nerfed. Probably more recovery frames. I think it's better for the game. But, you know, we're gonna have to wait till after final round for a balance pass anyway. So that's all I have to say on that. Speaking of final round, that's this coming weekend in Atlanta. If you guys don't know what it is, it's the first major offline tournament of the year. Big deal! It's gonna be fun. I don't feel as prepared as I'd like to be, but I'm gonna try my best anyway. I'll practice hard when I get home. I'm also playing 2s with LDZ there, so you know that's why we're practicing up a little bit. We're running the double Fate, and hopefully we can show off some cool tricks. If not, again, back on the grind when we get home, prepare more for the next one, and hopefully show you guys some good stuff. There's also going to be some huge announcements that I can't talk about right now, so make sure to tune into the official Brawlhalla stream to catch that. It's going to be next weekend, it's going to be sick. You're going to get to see your favorite players. Maybe I'll hop on commentary, maybe. I can't say that for sure. Just enjoy the gameplay, enjoy the stream. I'm done talking. I need to sleep.